Giraffe Social Media Podcast. It's what social media managers are talking about. I'm Chloe, and today I'm joined by our senior social media manager, Nicole, and our social media manager, Laura. How are you, ladies?
Good. I'm good, thanks. Enjoying the sunshine, having a little sunbathe when I can. It's really, really nice, and I'm hoping that it lasts, but I'm not being too hopeful.
How are you, Laura?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. The same. Enjoying the sun. I mean, I say I'm enjoying the sun. I'm enjoying looking at the sun. I'm not out in the sun, enjoying looking at it, but I don't think it's going to last, Nicole. I think from Thursday. It's taking, it's taking time for the worst, but I'm sure it'll be back.
Absolutely. Well, today we're going to be giving you guys the rundown of everything that happened on social media in June, including affiliate marketing on Instagram, professional profiles on Twitter, and so much more. But before we get started, I wanted to switch up our usual team question and ask you guys, what's been your favorite TikTok trend this month? I know TikTok generally tends to dictate what's hot and what's not every month on social, so I thought it would only be appropriate for me to ask you. Laura, what have you been loving?
Do you know what TikToks I've been loving recently is the ones that with the voiceover of "Have you ever been in love?" And it's like, do you want me to describe it to you? But then there's so many funny ones because it'll be like text over, so it might be like, "Have you ever owned a cat? Do you want me to describe it to you?" And then there's just like loads of crazy cat videos. Or there's just just a huge variety of different concepts, and I love it. I'm living for them at the moment.
I love the trends where you can kind of adapt it and make it your own, and it fits into any niche.
Yes, exactly that. And I think that's the perfect example of a trend that does do that.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys know where the audio is actually from? Is it Skins?
I think it's from Skins.
I think it's from Skins. Yeah.
Makes me want to rewatch it.
It's so random. Like, that must be at least 15 years old, something like that, and for some reason it's suddenly become really popular.
I've never understood like some of the voiceovers on TikToks, or like it'd be from like random songs, and I'm like, who's come up with that? Who's come up with this creative video idea?
Yeah, I do love the accounts that kind of show, like, they give context to the sounds, like they show you where it's from. Yeah, it's always funny to see. Nicole, what trend have you been loving on TikTok?
I don't know whether you can call this a trend, but just Olivia Rodrigo in general. I feel like ever since her album came out, obviously all of her songs have been everywhere, especially TikTok. You've got a lot of the deja vu trend, maybe last month, it was like the double faces, the mirror effect. That was cool, but more so this month, like the people singing along to Good For You, which is also a banger. Just all of that good stuff I'm seeing. I think she's really cool. I love her album, so when I get to scroll along and see her songs, I'm happy. I'm on that side of TikTok, so I've been loving those.
Yes, I think everyone's on Olivia Rodrigo TikTok right now. She was basically born from that app, so good for her, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, on the subject of TikTok trends, that actually brings me to our very first story and my personal favorite TikTok trend of the month, which is all about the viral Adult Swim video trend. Have you guys seen this around?
Yes, I love this. They're so creative. They're so fun.
They absolutely are. So to catch the listeners up who might not be aware on what Adult Swim is and why it's been taking over TikTok over the past few weeks, let me start from the beginning. So Adult Swim is basically the adult version of Cartoon Network. So between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. on the program, it changes to adult content. So it airs shows like Family Guy or Robot Chicken. And while these shows are on, Adult Swim would play these like creative ad bumps in between adverts and the next show. So I guess the UK equivalent is Channel 4. You think of those clips of the kids in the street and they're like playing football with that big Channel 4 figure. So that's basically what it is in the US. And the trend itself originated on TikTok because the song was produced by Vano 3000, and he remixed the song Time Moves Slow, which I think we can all agree is the best part of the trend, is the backing track. And basically the idea of these videos is to film something really creative, something really nostalgic, and it ends with the Adult Swim logo just popping up. And I think what makes these so attractive is that you never know where it's going to pop up or how it's going to pop up. So users have an opportunity to get really creative with it. I think the funny part about this trend, though, and you guys might not even know this, is that Adult Swim didn't even start it. They didn't know about this until some college students, I think, brought it up with the owner. But they're obviously very much on board with this trend now, as you would be if you were a massive brand who was going viral on TikTok without even trying. So yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I think this is just a fabulous example of how brands should be approaching marketing nowadays, even if they're not starting that marketing trend themselves. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I think it says something if someone else has created the trend and not them. I think someone else obviously saw something in it to begin with. So I think it's worth keeping your eye out then, seeing what's out there and what you can recreate.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the best part of the trend is that it gives people so much freedom and like creativity. Like the hashtag itself is like, okay, here's the format, go crazy, like do whatever you want with it. And because Adult Swim is, like you said, sort of the adult version of Cartoon Network, it can be a bit more edgy, which I think people are playing with a little bit. I think that's really fun. I also have seen a lot of videos where just like the editing and the filmography and like the cinematography is all really impressive. Like I think people are really taking it, they're trying to make it look like an advert, right? That's the point. So I think people are really putting a lot of energy into it, and it's more than just your usual dance trends. It's got these like added layers of people being really creative and playing around with the camera movements. I think it's really cool. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. And I was reading an article about it, and I think they interviewed someone who said there hasn't really been a creative TikTok trend since 2019 almost. Like it's all dancing and the voiceovers, which we do love. But I guess this kind of serves as inspiration for marketing managers out there. It's a great way to kind of drive interest to your brand, especially if you can start it yourself in a incognito kind of way. I can't imagine how many people have Googled Adult Swim in the past month. So yeah, super interesting. I want to stick with TikTok for a moment, just because, Laura, I know you want to talk about the platform's Creativity for Good campaign.
I do. I think it's amazing. So basically, with the annual Cannes Lions Advertising Awards coming up, TikTok is looking to get involved, but at the moment, the platform doesn't fit into any existing categories. So TikTok, being TikTok, is launching its own promotion in celebration of the Cannes Lions Awards called #Creativity for Good, which will invite users to create a TikTok-style campaign or advertisement for one of 4 non-for-profit organisations. Those organisations are the Malala Fund, It Gets Better, IFRC, and One Tree Planted. So essentially, users will be encouraged to make their own promotional video clips, obviously promoting one of these organisations. I think users are also encouraged, if they want to create promotional video for a different non-for-profit organisation, they can. But TikTok are actually donating, I think, $50,000 to each of these organisations as part of this campaign. So pretty amazing. And I think I think the organisations will obviously get loads of coverage. I think it allows people to sort of be creative, given a brief, be a bit creative, see what they come up with. So I'm looking forward to seeing, the videos on my feeds.
Yeah, absolutely. It ties in perfectly with what we were just talking about Adult Swim, right? So that's super cool.
Definitely. And I think anyway, sort of a platform can get involved with any sort of non-for-profit or charitable work in a creative way like this. I mean, it's not like TikTok are just donating, they're also giving these brands an opportunity to reach thousands of new and relevant audiences as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if it's for a good cause, like, why not? I think that's really cool. And like you said, Laura, it's probably not even just the initial donation, it's the awareness after the fact, you know, with the brands being splashed all over the platform. That's probably the coolest part. So hopefully that gets a lot of traction. So yeah, I'll look forward to seeing that as well.
I do wonder though if this is going to kind of backfire on TikTok a little bit. I mean, as you guys may or may not know, it's like very common for users to include popular hashtags in their posts just to get that extra reach. So I wonder how many videos TikTok is just going to have to sift through to find like these like relevant videos, I guess. It kind of reminds me of you know, when people were using the hashtag BLM and Blackout Tuesday and were just like kind of pushing down the meaningful posts with their own kind of posts. So yeah, super interesting.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that actually. But yeah, I always see completely irrelevant hashtags on people's posts.
Yeah, just whatever's trending at the time.
Yeah, there was wasn't it the Doritos one? Was it Doritos? It was like a Doritos one. I was like,
yeah, I know there's always ASOS ones when I first joined the app. And yeah. Well, anyway, it's all for a good cause. So I haven't seen any yet, but I am looking forward to that when it launches. Right, let's get into some app updates. Nicole, tell us a little bit about Twitter's professional profiles.
Yeah, so Twitter have, and they do this quite a lot, come out with an update that should have come out like years ago. They seem to be a little bit behind sometimes, and now that it's here, you're like, why wasn't that always a thing? So you know how on Instagram, if you have a business profile, your page looks different to a personal profile. So it has like a message section or an info section or a link to website, shop. You know, it has other things that you wouldn't just have on your normal one, just to differentiate between a personal account and a business account. Well, now on Twitter, they're kind of doing the same thing. So a Twitter account that's a business can be a professional profile, which is basically the same thing. Like it will have an about section, it will have even a shop section, it will have like a business category, more business information, just adding those little bits in that you think like, why wasn't that always a thing for business accounts on Twitter? Like it's so weird thinking about it now that Twitter business accounts in particular, are the exact same as personal accounts. Like they're not really set up any different. They don't have any other different information. So this will just help make that look a little bit different, probably help against like fraud with different accounts. I know obviously there's the verification badge, but a lot of businesses can't get verified, so it's just better to have those things in there. It'll have links to like an app store or gallery, like you'll be able to personalize it a lot. And as I say, that's just something that seems super obvious, but I'm glad that it's here. I think it will have a lot of opportunities for those accounts that do use Twitter quite a lot. Like imagine like the ASOS Twitter now having like a little shop section or a gallery and different about information sections. Like that's really cool. And even the smaller businesses as well who can edit that a bit. I think that's really nice. So I think that's coming soon. So for anyone who manages a Twitter account for a business, definitely keep an eye out on that, because you'll be able to make some edits soon, some tweaks. Which, who knows, maybe could change things a bit. You know, if a business account now looks a lot different to a personal account, makes it stand out a bit more. Maybe there'll be some other features coming. But yeah, that is the update. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Nicole. I'm like, why wasn't this a thing years ago? Why has it only just come out?
Right.
No, I think anything platforms can do to sort of differentiate personal accounts from business accounts is going to make a difference, I think, because like you say, a business doesn't necessarily have the opportunity to write a lot in a bio or give a lot of information. So having that opportunity for them to do so could be really beneficial.
I wonder if it's going to have an effect on like the business's reach when they're posting, because I know there is a rumor, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but it kind of feels that way, where as soon as you switch to a business profile on Instagram, the app like significantly and purposely hinders your reach to encourage you to spend more on advertising. So it's definitely cool to have all these added features, but it will be interesting to see as social media managers if that's gonna kind of push people towards the paid side a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. I think Twitter is such a interesting platform just in general. Like, it seems to have its own rules a lot of the time in terms of things. Obviously Facebook and Instagram are one, and you can kind of attempt to figure out the algorithm, but Twitter is just such a different beast. I mean, Laura, even earlier we were talking about like Twitter reps for ads, and that you can't really get hold of them.
No.
It's just completely different. So you're completely right, Chloe. It'll be really interesting to see if that has an effect similar to the other platforms, or whether it has the opposite effect. You know, we just don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely a case of watch this space. Moving on to our final story of today, it's all about Instagram's new announcement of their affiliate marketing program, which gives more opportunities for creators to earn money on the app. This is a super exciting update, especially for someone who kind of plays around in the Instagram space themselves. But essentially, this new feature will enable creators to tag products that are available within the app in their photos. So kind of similar to how you'd see a business tag their products within in their own posts. And if users tap through and go on to make that like a purchase of that item, the creator will earn a commission. So it's kind of cool because it's basically influencer marketing, but it removes the negotiating process between creators and brands in terms of payment. So very, very cool for micro influencers. And this is going to be rolled out across the US first, and then hopefully it will become available worldwide if it goes well. What do you guys think? What are your first thoughts?
I think that sounds really interesting. Sort of giving more or less everybody the opportunity to earn money, right? If they just tag a product and then someone that follows me can buy it, then I'll make money. No, I think that's really, really, really cool. And like you say, it sort of eliminates that negotiation of influencer marketing. So I don't know how the influence marketing landscape will change from that. If people can just tag their products and get commission, I don't know how it will impact that, but
yeah, it's very interesting. In the article, they actually raised the point that it does kind of pose a little bit of a risk because brands will lose control in who's endorsing their products, and that could be quite problematic if you have someone, I don't know, with a bit of a dodgy past kind of promoting your products and making money from it. Do you guys think that's a potential possibility?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think first reaction is, it sounds really cool. It sounds like a really cool way for influencers who are already promoting your product to actually get some value from that and some cash, which is nice. But I'm definitely curious as to how that works. Like, are there areas where people can take advantage of these things? Like, how are they going to track it? What happens to all of the companies who currently run those affiliate schemes? You know, is there going to be a new system? Do you have to, Chloe, I don't know whether it mentions in the article at all, do you have to be like a certain account level, like a certain amount of followers? Do you have to go through a process, or is it literally just open to everyone?
Yeah, I don't think it mentions anything about your follow account, but I imagine there's definitely a process that you kind of have to go through before you can just start, you know, willy-nilly tagging products left, right, and center. So yeah, that's a good point you make.
It's definitely interesting, and I think you mentioned there, Chloe, about like brands sort of losing control of who is representing them. I think that's a really interesting point, because a lot of clients, I think that all of us have probably worked in the past, are super picky often with the influencers that they work with because they want to find the right person. And if there's, you know, someone who is taking advantage of this new process and posting about them a lot, but it's just not on brand, you know, how will they feel about that? I'll definitely be interested to see how the US sort of trial goes and how that expands out, and if there are any limitations on like the type of influencer you are, whether there's a process to follow. I'll be keeping an eye out.
Yeah, definitely. And just to follow on from that point, I guess the opposite side of it is if you are a small influencer or creator, like blogger, if you start using this affiliate marketing feature, you can kind of use those insights to sell yourself to brands. Like, you're not already working with them. You could say, hey, like, I've been tagging your post over the last month and I've actually driven 20 plus sales to your website. Like, I think we should start a partnership. So I guess there's definitely pros and cons. And yeah, you're so right. I'll be excited to kind of watch it play out over in the US before it makes its way, hopefully, over here.
Yeah, I definitely think overall it's really, really cool. And it could open lots of doors for influencers, like you say, working with brands that may not have thought to work with them in the past. Like, that's really cool. But lots of question marks for me at the moment. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Well, we'd love to know what you guys, the listeners, think. So if you're for or against affiliate marketing, make sure you reach out to us on social media and let us know. But now it's time for us to move into our calendar update, the segment at the end of each monthly review, which highlights some of the key dates for the month ahead. Girls, have you got any dates that we should be marking in the calendar for this month?
Yeah, I have 3 international days.
Fabulous.
So I'll start with probably my favourite, which is Wild Chocolate Day on the 7th of July. Yeah.
Very nice.
The best. And then we've got Wild Emoji Day on the 17th. I feel like that could be a particularly creative day for brands to get involved with. And then we've got International Day of Friendship on the 30th, which is very wholesome.
Nice. I love that. We love doing our tier ranking over on the Giraffe Instagram, so keep an eye out for our ranking of the UK's chocolate, and they usually are quite controversial, so make sure you check it out.
Cool. I think those days, each of them kind of has some really cool opportunities for different social posts, right? Like Emoji Day as well. I know we were talking about like a tier system. You could probably do something cool there, like translating your business service like into emojis or something. I don't know. That could be quite fun. And then International Day of Friendship, obviously, just all the team together, maybe. That could be fun. Definitely some cool ones there. I've got some national days. So it's Get to Know Your Customers Day on the 15th of July. So that's pretty obvious. You know, you can obviously post some really cool, maybe reviews or testimonials and stuff like that would probably be helpful. It's also Ice Cream Month. Fun fact for you all. Entire month right there. So that's obviously, you know, very linked to July and summer, and I'm sure there's some really fun things that people could do there. I'm sure the ice cream brands will be all on top of that. And this is a bit of an odd one, Simplicity Day on the 12th. You might be thinking, what could I do for that? Well, if you've maybe got a bit of a complicated product or something that really needs explaining, like maybe you could just do a post where it's like the most simple, like, get to know my product thing in the world, you know, just to make it simple for people. That could be quite fun. I think, let's face it, when you're stuck for ideas on social media, looking to the days ahead are always helpful, and sometimes it inspires you to think of new ideas. So hopefully that helps our listeners. And you guys, feel free to steal those ideas. I don't mind.
I definitely will. I'll be reminding my boyfriend every day in July that it is ice cream month, and therefore we have no choice but to eat ice cream.
It seems fair.
Yeah, it does seem fair. Very reasonable.
Amazing, girls. Well, thank you so much for that. That actually brings us to the end of the episode. All we've got time for today. So thank you so much to the listeners for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode, and be sure to give us a follow on social media if you love the podcast as much as we do. We've been Giraffe Social Media. You've been amazing. We'll see you next time.